Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivajikacharya Asto Tarasarasi Śrīmad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Can you get me some tissues, please? Yeah. Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivajikacharya Asto Tarasarasi Śrīmad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaisnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyam Mukunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki. Shri Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki. Shri Purushottama Chitra Ki. Shri Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Shri Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Maharani Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtana Ki Jai. Kvantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Namo Vishwadaya Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavate Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We're reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 8, Eat. Withdrawal of the cosmic creations. Chapter 5, the demigods appeal to the Lord. Text number 44. Is that right?
Yes.
Yep. Just bear with me for a second. What happened to our light? Let there be light. But I can read it, I think. Namostu tasma upashanta shaktaye Svarajalabha pratipuritatmane Guneshu maya rachiteshu vrittibhir Nasajjamanaya nabhasvaduttaye Namostu tasma upashanta shaktaye Svarajalabha pratipuritatmane Guneshu maya rachiteshu vrittibhir Nasajjamanaya nabhasvaduttaye Namostu tasma upasanta saktaye Svarajalabho pratipuritatmane Guneshu maya rachiteshu vrittibhir Nasajjamanaya nabhasvaduttaye Guneshu maya rachiteshu vrittibhir Nasajjamanaya nabhasvaduttaye Svarajalabha pratiparitatmane Guneshu maya rachiteshu vrittibhir nasa jamanaya nabhasvadutaye. Ladies? Namostu tasma upasanta saktaye Swarajalabha pratipuritatmane Guneshu maya rachiteshu vrittibhir nasa jamanaya nabhasvadutaye. Namaha. Our respectful obeisances. Astu. Let there be. Tasmai. Unto him. Upashanta Shaktaye. Who does not endeavour to achieve anything else. Who is free from restlessness. Svaraja. Completely independent. Labha. Of all gains. Pratipurita. Fully achieved. Atmane. Unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Guneshu. Of the material world, which is moving because of the three modes of material nature. Actually, it says the three modes of nature. Maya rachiteshu. Things created by the external energy. Vrittibhi. By such activities of the senses. Nasajjamanaya. One who does not become attached, or one who is above material pains and pleasures. Nabhasvat, the air. Uttaye, unto the Lord, who has created this material world as his pastime. Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is completely silent, free from endeavour, and completely satisfied by his own achievements. He is not attached to the activities of the material world through his senses. Indeed, in performing his pastimes in this material world, he is just like the unattached air. Purport. We can simply understand that behind the activities of material nature is the Supreme Lord, by whose indications everything takes place. Although we cannot see him. Even without seeing him, we should offer him our respectful obeisances. We should know that he is complete. Everything is done systematically by his energies. Parasya Shaktiya Vividhaiva Shruyate. And therefore, he has nothing to do. Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. As indicated here by the word upashanta shaktaye, his different energies act. But although he sets these energies in action, he himself has nothing to do. He is not attached to anything, for he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, let us offer our respectful obeisances unto him. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gnanjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmaye Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Svapadantikam Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Bande Sri Gurum Dinatavinam. So the demigods are offering their appreciations for the Lord. And are appreciating His transcendental nature, His transcendent personality. Upashanta Shaktaye. He's not endeavoring for anything. He has no need. He's fully Atmarama. Or here it's, what does it say here? Pratipurita Atmane. Right? Here, fully achieved or fully satisfied. And Prabhupada makes a point here that even if we can't see the presence of the Lord, still we should offer our respects to Him. And in many respects, the prayers, and of course the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is full of prayers offered by the devotees. And within the descriptions and within the content of those prayers, we're able to get a vision of or get an appreciation for the Lord and His qualities, His characteristics, His personality, simply by hearing. We love you dearly, but you have to be quiet in the Bhagavatam class. Good girl. So, not easy. It's not easy to see or appreciate the presence of God. In fact, it's bewildering for most people. We live in a society, in a culture where most people don't believe that God exists. It's too hard for them. You know, there's indications, there's observations, there's order, there's structure, there's an indication of some purpose within the whole of the creation. But for the materialistic mentality, very difficult to connect to. Impossible, actually. The material energy has this bewildering potency, very powerful. And so even though we're spiritual by nature, that's our identity, the material energy covers it over. So that nothing is clear, nothing is easily discernible. Very difficult to distinguish between spirit and matter. In fact, the material energy is so powerful in terms of its covering potency that the living entity thinks himself a product of matter, not of spirit. The example is given that the living entity or the spiritual force, the spiritual potency, is like pure water, clear and sweet. There's nothing like drinking pure, clean water. Krishna says, I am the taste in water. So, when you drink it's very sweet, actually. Not sweet like sugar, but just the taste of water, very sweet. So that's the nature of the living entity is pure and clean and sweet. But when the water falls from the sky and hits the ground, hits the dirt, then what do you get? When water enters dirt, what do you get? Mud, that's right. So even though the water is there, the pure, sweet, clear water is there, it's covered over by the mud, or it's so absorbed in the dirt you can't appreciate the presence of the water other than the fact that it's wet. So we're like that. We've fallen from the spiritual realm, or from our original spiritual identity, and that's now then covered over by the material energy. So very difficult to penetrate the power of that covering potency. So how does one reawaken that identification so that we can extract ourselves out of that material conditioning and can again realize our spiritual identity, and within that realization appreciate our relationship with the source, the spiritual source of everything? And generally speaking, that's at least for us, that comes about as a result of meeting the devotees. Because the devotees have that capacity. By the practice of bhakti, they're able to differentiate between matter and spirit. And they know themselves to be spirit. They also are able to perceive and appreciate the characteristics of the personality of Godhead, the source of everything, as a result or by dint of their devotional service, by the dint of their actions performed in relationship with Krishna. And as a consequence of the performance of that devotional service, the devotees are actually able to perceive the presence of God within everything. Right? And so by hearing these prayers of the demigods, who ultimately are devotees, we're able to gain an understanding through their vision. We're able to appreciate how Krishna manifests everything, the spiritual world, the material world, the varieties that exist within the material world, by the engagement of his different shaktis or potencies. He's the possessor of all potencies, parasya shaktir. And that everything that we see is actually an extension of his energy. He's the source of everything, source of the material creation. But he himself remains aloof from it. We're affected by the material energy. He's not. It's working under his control. And that's appreciated and observed by the devotees. They're able to see the presence of God within everything. And so, as a consequence, then they're able to describe his activities. So when we come into the association of the devotees, then they are able to reveal to us, they're able to reveal the workings of the material energy and in relationship to its source. What is it? Ishvaraha Parama Krishna. Krishna is the supreme controller. Satchit Ananda Vigraha. He has a form of eternity, knowledge and bliss. And Anadir Adir Govinda. He is the source of everything, but he himself has no source. He's eternal, Sat. Sarva Karana Karanam. He's the cause of all causes. So, we're not able to see him, but by the association of the devotees, by hearing especially, Sravanadi, by hearing from the devotees, Suddha Chitte, our consciousness, which is contaminated by that association with the material energy, is gradually purified. The devotees are able to enlighten us and reveal to us our spiritual identity rather than our, as opposed to our material identity. And of course, also the process by which we can achieve an understanding of who we are and what our relationship with Krishna is. So, by the association of devotees, we get an appreciation for who we are and what our relationship is with Krishna. We act in that relationship, and gradually the realization of spiritual identification manifests within the heart. And so therefore we should, even though we're not able to see, Prabhupada says here, even without seeing him, we should offer him our respectful obeisances. And that everything that's taking place within the creation is an extension of, it's an extension of him, his energy, but at the same time he's separate from it. Everything is done systematically by his energies. You know, we're in one sense we do get to see Krishna because we come to the temple every day and we see Gaur Nitai and Radha Vallabha and Jagannath Balaram and Subhadra. So, in many respects, we're able to see, but from a materialistic point of view, when a materialist comes to the temple and sees the deity, they don't see God. Right? They just see material energy. Yet even from a materialistic point of view, we can appreciate that there are energies and potencies and even personalities beyond our immediate perception, but we accept that they're there, right? I was just thinking about this morning. One time, Nanda Mandir and I went for a ride through the sewage works out near Werribee. Right? And on our, you know, when you go for a ride, often you got a map. You've got a map, but the map doesn't tell you where the gates and the fences are and the obstacles that have been put up since they put the map in, right? So we discovered that on our path there was a few fences, you know, keep out signs. We said, forget about that. So we just hopped over the fence, right? But then we came to the outer, we went through the whole area. Then we came to a gate, and it was a big electronic gate, right? And so we're thinking, that's interesting, how are we going to get over this one? That was our way out, right? But then as we came up to the gate, have a guess what happened? The gate opened. Ooh, okay, somebody's watching us. So, and you know, they have their video cameras and whatever around the place. But even still, there probably wasn't anybody watching us. It's just that, you know, we triggered something in it, so the gate opened, right? So we have, you know, even in materialistic efforts and endeavours, we appreciate that there are powers and energies beyond us that we can't see, but we know they're working, right? And we know there's a person behind it. Those things just didn't, you know, just pop up out of nowhere, right? We know there's somebody behind the gate. Even if he's not there actually pressing the button to make sure the gate opens, he's arranged it in such a way so that when somebody turns up, open up the gate, right? So even from a materialistic point of view, we can appreciate there are unseen, just like, you know, on our mobile phone, we don't see the messages coming in, right? We can't see it, but pops up. And we know that, look, there's Prabhuji sending me a message. Right? We can't see it working, but we see the results. So similarly also, the material energy works in a similar way. It's unseen. Krishna's hand in the working of the creation is unseen, but we see the results. And even, it's interesting here, Prabhupada says, in this first sentence, we can simply understand that behind the activities of material nature is the Supreme Lord, by whose indications everything takes place. Right? By his indications. What does that mean? Anybody got Google on their phone? Look up indications. Or have you all left your phones at home? A sign. Indications. Sign. What else? There's going to be more than one.
A sign or piece of information that indicates something.
Yeah, okay. What's next?
A symptom.
A symptom. Yeah, okay. What else?
A sign that something exists.
Okay, all right. Indication. What kind of indications does Krishna give in order for everything to take place, what does he do? It was in yesterday's verse. What does he do? In order for the material creation to take place, what does he do? How was it? Did anybody go to class yesterday? Hear the class? No. What does he do? How does he set the material creation into action? His glance, yeah. This is how we indicate, right? We use our eyes to indicate. Have you ever done something that displeased your parents? I can tell by the smiles that perhaps some of you may have done that. And how did your parents indicate that they weren't happy with you? Huh? They might have done something more serious than that, depending on the severity of your misbehaviour. But very often we get an indication of how somebody's feeling by the way they look at us, right? Right? So very interesting. Krishna is able to give impetus to the activities of the material creation by impregnating the material energy with all of the jivas. Huh? As mentioned in the previous verse. And when the jivas are impregnated in the material energy and reawakened, right, they've been asleep in Mahavishnu for so long, but then when they wake up, they remember their past desires, or they remember their material desires, their wants and their needs, or wants primarily, generally not needs. And so, with that glance of the Lord, he activates the material energy with all of the desires of the individual jivas. And so it all gets swung into motion, right? Just by his glance. And it's described that that glance is a touch, if you like, right? Even though there's no contact, right? Your parents might not touch you, but just by that glance of disapproval, we feel uncomfortable, right? Either we feel uncomfortable or we don't care. Then you might get, if you're not paying attention to your parents, you might find that there's a more firmer response than just a glance, right? But of course, and it's very interesting, by the workings of the material energy, Krishna is able to reward and to punish. Yet he himself has nothing to do with the material energy because it works under its own apparatus, under its own jurisdiction. It's empowered by the Lord, it's produced by the Lord, but he's able to remain detached from it and not be affected by it. These are the different shaktis or potencies of the Lord. In fact, even the spiritual world works like that. Right? In the purport where this verse is mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Parasya Shakti Vividaya Vasriyate. It's mentioned in relationship to the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya and the devotees at Ratha Yatra. Right? And in that, in the Sankirtan pastimes of Lord Chaitanya in Ratha Yatra, Lord Chaitanya appeared in more than one kirtan party. Right? But not everybody could see it. Not everybody could see it. And Maharaj Prataparudra, who's a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya, but who Lord Chaitanya wouldn't see because he was a king. And because Lord Chaitanya was playing the role of a sannyasi, strict sannyasi, he would forbid, because the devotees would petition Lord Chaitanya and they'd say, Maharaj Prataparudra is such a wonderful devotee. He's so dedicated to your service. Please give him your darshan. And Lord Chaitanya would refuse. In fact, the devotees would keep pestering him and he'd say, if you keep pestering me, I'm leaving this place. So they, ooh, okay. Right. So anyway, they arranged a situation where Lord Chaitanya would give darshan to his son. His son also was a devotee, and they gave him some cloth, and that cloth was then delivered to Maharaj Prataparudra. So he got some kripa, not much, but a little bit. Right? So anyway, when Maharaj Prataparudra came, and practically speaking, Maharaj Prataparudra was the king of Orissa, right? So obviously a powerful personality. He got to witness the Sankirtan pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, and he was able, because he was such a advanced devotee, he was able to see the presence of Lord Chaitanya in all of the different Sankirtan parties. He can understand and appreciate the transcendental character of Lord Chaitanya, of Krishna in the form of Lord Chaitanya, performing his Sankirtan pastimes. So this was only witnessed by a few devotees, by the very internal and very advanced associates of Lord Chaitanya. So it describes there how Lord Chaitanya was so absorbed in the Sankirtan pastimes that he completely forgot himself. Yet, the internal potency of the Lord worked in such a way so that his presence was felt by those very advanced devotees in more than one place. Just like Krishna in his Rasa-lila pastimes manifests himself so that each of the gopis sees Krishna present with her. Right? And Krishna doesn't have to think about that. Oh, hang on a second, now I need to expand myself so that I'm with all of the devotees. Right? It just happens automatically by his desire. Right? He doesn't have to think about it. The Yogamaya potency, which is another Shakti or energy of the Lord, manifests these things automatically. Not easy to appreciate or understand from a material perspective, but from the purified, transcendental, spiritual perspective, it's easy for the devotees to understand and appreciate these manifestations of the Lord in his pastimes, and also understand the creation of the material realm as well, as expansions of the energies of the Lord. So, in this way, the Lord is everything, right? He's complete. Om Purnam Adapurnamidam. He's the complete whole. And from him everything emanates and is manifest. Yet at the same time, he remains detached from it. So this is something that the devotees alone can appreciate. By the performance of devotional service, these things are all revealed and appreciated by the devotees. He is complete. Everything is done systematically by his energies, parasya shakti vividaiva shruyate, and therefore he has nothing to do. Of course, that doesn't mean that he doesn't do anything, right? He also has his pastimes and activities that he performs in the spiritual world, but again, that's all manifest by his energies. As indicated here by the word upasanta shaktaye, his different energies act, but although he sets these energies in action, he himself has nothing to do. He is not attached to anything, for he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, let us offer our respectful obeisances unto him. Yeah. And another translation of this word, upashanta shaktaye, is one who is free from restlessness. Right? We're generally restless. We're always thinking, what's next? What's next? How can I get whatever it is that I want? Right? But Krishna's not like that. He's fully atmarama, fully satisfied and not restless. So, those who know Krishna and appreciate his presence within everything and appreciate his, manifestation of the material creation and of the spiritual creation, also become peaceful. Right? Devotee becomes peaceful by knowing Krishna and Krishna's transcendental position. The devotees themselves are elevated to that same level of transcendence and become peaceful. And we appreciate those qualities in the devotees themselves, but we also appreciate those qualities manifesting in ourselves, hopefully. By chanting Hare Krishna, we can experience that transcendental position. Okay, I'm going to finish here. Does anybody have any comments or questions? any realizations you'd like to share?
Krishna is so amazingly wonderful.
What's that?
Krishna is so amazingly wonderful. So wonderful.
Yeah. There's a chapter in the 10th canto called, what is it? Wonderful Krishna? Or is it amazing? Wonderful Krishna.
Wonderful Krishna.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not just, of course, everything's Krishna, but not just Krishna, but Krishna's energy, the Maya is so potent, like it's like,
Yeah.
it's material energy. Mama Maya Duratya is so,
Yes. And in the previous verse, it mentions we have to give it up. But actually very difficult to give it up. Right? You can only give up the material energy if you've got something better. And if we haven't got that higher taste, then have a guess what? We're drawn back. Whether we like it or not. We can't avoid it. And that's why the engagement in devotional service is so important, and why our chanting is so important. By sitting, and why chanting is something that needs to be engaged in completely separate from everything else.
Yes.
Right? You could be walking around with a clicker, doing this, doing that, doing so many things, but really chanting has to be done in an environment where nothing else is to distract us. Right? Actually, I was listening to a little clip from a lecture that Prabhupada gave, and Prabhupada says that we shouldn't be chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare. He said, no, not like that. Prabhupada says we should chant Priti Purvakam, right? With love and affection. I was thinking, how are we going to do that? If we can't appreciate Krishna, from our distant position of detachment, or shouldn't say detachment, distance from Krishna, right? But then Prabhupada explained something. He said, by chanting, we'll develop that affection and love for Krishna, because the chanting is so nice, right? So, that means our offering of love, at least initially, should be without offence, right? This is the science. We say there's no rules and regulations for chanting Hare Krishna, right? But there are actually. And the first set of guidelines for chanting is to avoid offences. Right? If we are able to avoid the offences and keep our attention on the chanting, then Krishna reveals himself. And then we realise, wow, Krishna's amazing. Right? And that way then our affection is established and it expands. Right? And so that way then we're able to offer more of ourselves to Krishna through the chanting of Hare Krishna. And Krishna reveals himself more. So there's a reciprocation, right? So the pivot in many respects to our advancement in spiritual life and in deepening our relationship with Krishna is through chanting. And not doing anything else, just chanting. You may have experienced it. Right? then that our eyes are really opened to so many things that are really wonderful, actually, and in appreciation of how great Krishna is, how wonderful, right? Yeah. Mamahan, what have you got to report? Give the microphone to Mamahan. Oh, in a minute.
Prabhuji, so thank you for explaining working of invisible hand of Lord through your own personal example. Thank you for explaining invisible hand of Lord through your own personal examples.
Hand. Yep.
So my question is regarding statement that says Lord is completely satisfied by His own achievements. So is Lord is also completely satisfied by achievements of His own devotees?
Wait a minute. Now, which one were you? Oh, satisfied by His own achievements. Yeah, go on. What was the next question?
So the question is, what about is Lord also satisfied completely by achievements of His own devotees?
Completely by?
By achievements of His devotees.
By what of His devotees?
Lord is satisfied by His own achievement and also
Yes.
is completely satisfied by His devotees' achievement.
I guess so. Yep. Why not? Yep. Of course, some devotees might not be behaving properly, so therefore he's not happy. Or at least we think like that. We come before Krishna and... Yeah, that's very interesting concept, right? When we come before Krishna and we've tried our utmost to serve, then Krishna appears to be happy with us, right? Yet, if we come before Krishna and we haven't fully given everything, then we don't feel happy. How do we know? How do we know whether Krishna is satisfied with us or not? How do we tell? The devotees are happy. Yeah. Yep. Give the microphone to Mamahan. I want to hear from him. He's just been to...
Yes, Prabhu. How can I serve you?
Did you have a good time?
Yeah, good.
Yeah. You went to Ratha Yatra, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Did you see Lord Chaitanya dancing? Yeah. What have we got coming up in the next few weeks?
It's going to be busy.
Going to be busy. Yeah. We've got the cultural festival on the 10th, which is what?
Next Saturday.
Saturday. Yeah. Do you need assistance?
Yes.
If you're looking for something to do, if you'd like to deepen your relationship with Krishna, then there's plenty of service to be performed. We've got Balaram Purnima, Julan Yatra, then Janmashtami. Janmashtami in 3 locations. We're going to have a meeting this week to sort out who's going where, right? One thing I've noticed that the devotees out west have tried to commandeer some of our cooks. Right? And I've said to them, what are you doing? You're taking our cooks. Oh, no, they don't usually do anything. But I know they do. So we're going to have to get together and have a chat about who's going where. I've said the purpose of expansion in Wyndham is not to pinch the devotees from Dank Street. You're supposed to be making new devotees. They're the ones who are supposed to be doing the service, not take them from here. What do you think? Is that fair? Yeah. Anyway, we don't mind sharing. We're giving also. We need to make sure we have a balance. You know, we're looking potentially 20,000 people that we'll be catering for on Janmashtami. Maybe even more, right? Maybe even more. So that's going to be a challenge. And also we've got the disciples of Vedavyas Priya Maharaj celebrating a Vyasa Puja as well, which is going to add a little extra spice to the mix. Challenges, I suppose. But they've assured me, no, we won't create any disturbances. But I'm hearing from the other devotees, they want this, they want that, they want the other thing, we're already busy. Because, you know, Julan Yatra is a major competition, right? So the ladies will be busy decorating and preparing. So anyway, we need to keep these things in mind. So my humble request to all the devotees is please have a chat with Manmohan and work out what services you can offer for the prasadam distribution especially. That'll be the big. And the kitchen. You know, ideally what happens is devotees just turn up and say, oh, I'm cooking for a program, but they don't tell the kitchen managers. They just turn up, I'm cooking. What are you cooking? Right? And then they'll be taking boga and facilities and whatever and just expecting that it's all, she'll be right, mate. So, yeah, we need to tighten up our coordination, especially in the kitchen. It's not just a free-for-all. So that requires, especially when we're serving so many people. Which is what we like to do, right? But we need to do it in a coordinated fashion. Okay. Contra Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare